Tom, we saw you after the game, running off the field, just encouraging your players, slapping them on the chest. What did you say to them after that performance last week?
Yeah, I just really wanted to reiterate how proud I was of them, of how hard they played, and they fought them for 60 minutes, and felt like that. We obviously didn't execute some critical times that cost us, and but when you take a step back and you look at where we're at, and obviously disappointed, really felt like that. We had talked all along about truly believing that if we played our best in all three phases, that we could win the game. And so when you fall short of that, it's disappointing. But I wanted them to know how much I believe in them, and was proud of them. You can be disappointed, but also proud of the effort, because those are the things that you control. We gave some things up that hurt us. We didn't bow up when we got put in some tough situations. But as I told our guys, we have to rise up in those situations and force field goals. If they get the ball inside the 10, for however it gets there, whether it's special teams or offense, it doesn't really matter. So just getting that mentality, and so that's part of the process of changing the culture and changing the expectation and changing what these kids believe in their mind, what they can do on the field.
How would you evaluate Ashawn in his first start?
I was impressed, for a true freshman. To go back in your home state like that, I've seen it go two ways. Sometimes kids rise up and they play extremely well because of just the excitement and the edge they have about them because of going back and playing close to home, and all that. But I've also seen where they press and they try too hard and they actually, they struggle. So for him to rise up against the talent that they had at receiver, it was impressive. And then just the toughness. He made tackles. He didn't just cover. So very encouraging for us. He's got length. He's got, he's a really good kid too. So very excited for him. And but as the case with all of our guys, it's about players making plays. And he obviously stepped up and was really excited for him to get that pick there at the end. And just need one more takeaway.
I think you noted last week that he's a guy who just has really good eye contact when you're talking to him. Mm-hmm. Is it just that maturity maybe that makes him able to step on the field and
I think it helps. Yeah, because I think you can't really separate. Some kids, they may be a certain way off the field and they're a different way on the field. But for the most part, guys kind of carry those qualities with them. He's a focused guy, very, very mature young man. And so you can tell a lot. When you hold kids to a certain standard of how they're supposed to practice, and when they don't do that and you get on them, how they going to respond. And he's been one of those young men since day one that he's really, always responded the right way. I'm not saying internally he didn't get frustrated they would get on him, but it's always yes sir, look you in the eye, and respond. And so he didn't flinch, and it really, really, by far, in his young career, the toughest environment he's played in, and he did awesome.
Why did you decide to start him in that game? That's obviously a huge challenge for a veteran player.
Well, I think first of all, it's kind of went along with what we said. Hey, we weren't going to back down to anybody. We just felt like he was the best matchup for us against their skill, and we believed in him. And I told him, from the beginning of the week, this is going to be his opportunity, and just like all of our guys, I said we're going to play it the best we feel we have to do to defeat Ohio State, and we felt like he gave us the best chance because of that. And it was just awesome to see him respond to that, because you really don't know. You put it out there, and you take a young guy like that in that environment, and sometimes that pressure, it creates a real positive response, and sometimes it causes you to crumble. And it definitely, obviously, was a very positive thing.
Was part of your pride, and amid the disappointment, was part of your pride in the sense, I think Kevin mentioned it post game too, that he's seen games like that when it's been decided, but then Ohio State gets to the 50s. You guys didn't give up a cheap touchdown even at the end.
That's right.
Is that part of it too? Is part of what you're trying to get at in terms of culture?
There's no question. Obviously, in the fourth quarter, and our whole thing was, we wanted to be in the fourth quarter, and we wanted to give ourselves a chance to win. Get it to the fourth quarter, give ourselves a chance to win, and we played that whole mindset. And so you get that last takeaway, and you really feel like, hey, this is it, you know. And so, and then when that doesn't happen, well, how you going to respond? And so then they get the pick, and they go all that. Well, I tell you what, we got them out there, and I was very animated at that point because we were not going to let them score. It's changing the mindset that who we're going to become from start to finish, that we're going to have tremendous pride in this defense. And I absolutely appealed to that very, very animatedly. And because I felt like that is exactly how we have to think. And obviously in the future, I want our guys to be the ones giving that speech in that huddle. But right now, you know, it has to be me, and I'm fine with that. So, but we were not going to let them score. And so it's just it's a pride in your defense. It's pride in your unit. It's pride in what you represent as a program and what we're trying to establish defensively.
With Armstrong coming up next, you know, another running quarterback, or maybe some 2 or 3 things you saw in the film that Bear was able to do, maybe you want them to say take away.
Yeah. You know, it's obviously there's some carryover between the two, very similar, you know, type quarterbacks. I'd say Armstrong's a little faster, you know, a little more explosive type guy. But anytime you run the quarterback, and obviously the way Ohio State runs their quarterback, they're designed. You know, it's not like he's just scrambling around, and so they're going to get extra guy. He's that extra guy that you have to account for at the point of attack. And so I would say, you know, at times, you know, you can't play with 12, you know, and so to get that extra guy there, it involves usually somebody in the secondary. And so getting that guy to the ball and then having him make plays is really the final piece. And so to be able to transfer that to Armstrong, you know, is that we've got to be able to continue to get guys to the football, to be able to get the numbers the way we want them, but we got to be able to finish those plays off. You know, and they're both big, strong guys that are hard to get on the ground. You know, they're not like they're little scat backs, you know, so they're 220-pound quarterbacks plus. And so to me, there's some schematic things that'll help us, I believe, from going against a guy like this, and also just a matter of understanding where we have to get our fits right, you know, from the back end's perspective. So I do think Armstrong is a little more drop back and create from that perspective, more of a drop-back approach. He definitely has quarterback runs, for sure, but not to the volume that, just by scheme, what Ohio State has shown in the past and what they did on Saturday. And obviously they ran him a bunch. And so I think that will help us for sure. But it's also still, I mean, anytime, I'll never stop saying this, but anytime a quarterback can run it and throw it effectively, it creates challenges for any defense. And so that's what makes – he makes them go just like Barrett made Ohio State go, and he has a tremendously strong arm too. So I feel like that you know, last week will help for sure, but he creates some different challenges as well.
You know that their health is in doubt. How do guys like Ethan Carter and Jordan Westerkamp help that offense be as two-dimensional?
You know, just, you know, the Westerkamp kid, you know, just he gets open and he catches a lot of competitive balls. He just seems to always come down with the ball. You know, so when you're a quarterback, you know, those kind of guys give you a lot of comfort, you know, and you look to those guys. And you got a big tight end that can run and block and catch, and they run reverses with him. I mean, so he's not your typical, you know, he's pretty versatile athlete. So I think it obviously, you know, gives you once again another comfort level that a quarterback can have, and guys he can just trust that they're going to catch the football, and then they can do something with it once they do. So, and they got several other weapons. You know, it's a very good offense. You know, another very good football team rolling into Bloomington that we've got to have a great week of preparation to be able to be at our best.
You talk a little bit about the job Mark Hagan's done up front. I mean, that unit had a lot of turnover from last season. You didn't have Jake Robinson Saturday. To talk a little bit about what you've seen there.
He's done a tremendous job. You know, we knew, you know, I've known him for a long time and knew he was a great person, great coach. And I would say this about Mark. He's relentless. And it never, he has a level of expectation for how we're going to practice, how they're going to prepare. And the kids are responding to him. You know, he's very hard on them. But they know he cares about them, and he just wants them to be special. He wants them to be great, and you see the growth. You know, they're just the physicality to get off at the point of attack. We got to continue to win more one-on-ones. We've got to continue to do a better job of getting pressure. But if you noticed on Saturday, you know, we didn't have a lot of sacks, but Barrett was never comfortable. and he never could get just sitting there, and he's used to having that. If you watch it on film, it was just pretty much he could pat back there and make his decisions and go, and that wasn't the case from the opening time he tried to throw the football. He could never really step into his throws, and so the pressure that we were able to get from our front, and we did blitz a little, but not as much, and so that's a tribute to Coach Hagan, and he's just done a great job holding those guys to a high standard. But just like with Ashawn, it's about the young men responding to him, and that's a tribute because we had a lot of question marks coming in this year with that group, and without Jacob playing, obviously shorthanded for sure. It didn't have him, even a week before that, and the effort that week was just a tremendous tribute to the job that Coach Hagan's done. And I say, the corners played really well, the safeties, and with Coach Joseph and Coach Shelby did a tremendous job with that group. And then you talk about the two linebackers that have kind of stuck out with T. Gray and Marcus, and the job that Coach Inge has done with the backers. So it's team effort. It's team effort with our players. It's team effort with the coaches. The LEO isn't just about the players. LEO is about everybody, and everybody playing for each other, coaching for each other, working together. We have two GAs that do a tremendous job. Case Teagarden, and Pat Kuntz, worked endless hours in the office, breaking down film, getting scripts ready, drawing cards till the wee hours of the night. And those guys are a huge part of our success. And so I appreciate the work that our coaching staff has done to be able to help these players, maximize their full potential.
Talked a lot about Ashawn earlier. If you have two corners out there, if you can play press if you want to, those two kids, how much does that help you as a coordinator free up some other things?
It helps a lot, and I feel like that, because the ability to play that kind of coverage really gives you a different feel offensively on the windows that you have pre-snap. And obviously, you can, post-snap make things look different. But everything's compressed. And everything's disrupted, and the timing is not what you want. The windows aren't what you really want, and you force the quarterback to make those decisions after the ball snaps. And so that definitely, we try and you even vary that a little bit. But the bottom line is the ability to do that is a big part of what we do. And so we obviously we're going to be aggressive in that approach. We had 5 tip balls, and to me that's what we want. We talk about attacking the football. That doesn't mean just raking it, stripping it when they're running it. We're talking about when that ball's in the air, we're going to attack the football. And we got 1 interception off a tip ball. We really came really close to getting the second one. I thought, just even after a while, I thought when it happened live that, man, why didn't we get that one? And then even watching, I feel like, golly, we lost a chance there. And then there was a third one that was close as well. So as I tell our guys, tip balls are pick balls. And that's what we want in practice. And we reward them for those tip balls and those rake attempts and the strip attempts and all the different things about attacking the ball. So, but that coverage that you're talking about, that's part of it, and just trying to play that way. And yeah, they're going to take their shots, and you got to just, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to be able to understand that's part of the style that we want to play, and that's what we're going to. That was kind of part of what I said earlier. Hey, we're going to go into Ohio State and play our style of defense. We're not backing down to anybody. We're not going to modify things because of certain. We're going to be wise in our adjustments, but we're going to play our style, and kids respond to that.
Reason why J.T. Barrett might not be as comfortable as he would like because he doesn't see those pre-snap windows.
Absolutely, and so that's all part of the big picture, But the kids are executing it and believing in it, and that's why I felt like for me as we jog off the field, to me it was a matter of just continuing to encourage the belief of what the kids are seeing with their own eyes and feeling, and so they were disappointed but not discouraged.
Belief, I guess, in back-to-back weeks. Do you sense a little bit of swagger, with this defense?
I do,
yeah.
and I want to flame it and encourage it, and challenge them to take it and rise up each week, turn the notch up of our expectation. Like I tell our guys, from the very beginning, it's been this progression. Preparation creates confidence, and that confidence creates expectation. So now after you experience success on the field, you start to develop an expectation. This is how we're going to play. We're not going to be surprised when we play this well. We expect to play this well. We will be very disappointed when we don't play to the level we've played at. And to me, that's the progression you want. Because the final phase is performance. And so our guys are, understanding that. And we want to, as we said in the very beginning, we want to be the reason why. And I've challenged that to them from day one. And we're going to continue to do that until we are the reason why.
We've been getting some valuable contributions from young guys like Marcelino Ball and Ashawn, of course, in the secondary. What traits as a coach do you look for in figuring out where to, when, I guess, to play those younger players and whether or not you have enough confidence in them to make those plays on the field?
I believe that, as we tell young men when they come into the program, and since we're all new, or I was new, we told our guys in the spring, it's your responsibility to prove to your coach that you deserve to play. So when a guy like Marcelino or Ashawn comes in as a freshman in the summer and they get ready for fall camp, I'll tell them it's your responsibility to prove to your coach that you deserve to play. And he did that, so he makes plays in practice. He is focused. He's locked in meetings. And that builds trust. It builds trust with his coaches. It builds trust with his teammates. And we talk about that a lot to our guys. Who do you trust? Who do you want beside you? And, just listen to our guys talk after the game and different things that they say to the media. Those are the kind of things I want to hear. And those things are starting to be said and have been said during the fall. And so they're understanding what that really means. And so for a guy to come in as a freshman, we'll play freshmen. If they prove to us that they have earned the right to play, then we're going to play them. And just like with Ashawn, we're going, hey, you ready to start? We're going to start you, even if it's in the biggest game of the season up to this point. And so that confidence that he has starts with us believing in him. But he's got to prove it to me and prove it to his coach and prove it to his teammates. And that's what he did. Have a great day.